nerd. Learning is important, right?
Yes, exactly. What a bunch of nerds.
Nerd alert.
Right.
Marketing Architects.
Hello, and welcome to the Marketing Architects, a research-first podcast dedicated to answering your toughest marketing questions. I'm Elena Jasper on the marketing team here at Marketing Architects, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rob DeMars, the Chief Product Architect of Misfits and Machines.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, we're back with your weekly Nerd Alert. Every week, I'll take a deep dive into academic marketing research and translate its complex ideas into simple, understandable language for Rob, and of course, for all of you. Are you ready to nerd out, Rob?
Elena, I'm not just ready. I am statistically significant.
Okay. Yeah. You know what's funny? I was teaching myself more about statistical significance the other day, so that's funny. That just caught me off guard a little bit. But let's...
Because aren't we all just, thinking about statistical significance?
I was,
on an ongoing basis. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's get into it. This week, I read a study titled Brand Recognition in Television Advertising, the Influence of Brand Presence and Brand Introduction. This is by Charlene Gerber, Marlies Terblanc-Smit, and Tracy Cromelin, published in Acta Commerci in 2014. This study looks at a question every TV advertiser has probably wondered about. What makes people remember your brand after the ad ends? Specifically, this explored two things, brand presence and brand introduction, as both affect brand recognition in different ways. Before I get into it though, Rob, what's your take on how and when a brand should show up in an ad?
I would say if it's possible for the brand to show up before the commercial even starts, I would choose that, but that's not physically possible. So I would say early. Early.
Brand early and often, I think is what we say sometimes.
Early, done well though, still part of the storyline, but early.
Let's see what the study says. I have a feeling that you're right. The researchers analyzed viewer responses to 25 TV ads for alcoholic beverages in South Africa, and they used data for more than 50,000 respondents over 5 years. They measured three things: brand presence, the percentage of time the brand was on screen; brand introduction, how long it took before the brand appeared; and brand recognition, then the share of viewers who correctly linked the ad to the brand. Their goal is to see which combination produced the best brand recognition. And here are some of the results. First, they found there's a strong positive relationship between brand presence and brand recognition. The more time your brand is visible in the ad, the more likely people remember it. Their second finding was that there's a negative relationship between brand introduction and brand recognition, which means the longer you wait to show your brand, the worse the recognition. So you're absolutely correct in that. They also found that brand presence and brand introduction together explain more than 50% of the variance in brand recognition. So to put it simply, if your brand appears late and rarely, people will not remember it.
Did they really need to conduct a massive study to prove this out?
Rob, probably, because how many ads do you think actually follow?
No,
so
true.
few.
Yep, that's very true.
I think marketers think if you tell the story and then show your brand, that's most effective, because that's what I think we see a lot of times in commercials.
Yes, I'm gonna do a study of what's healthier, eating chicken or Twinkies. It's come on.
I know, but this is important work because people don't follow it. Rob, if you have to take a guess, how much time do you think a brand should appear within an advertisement for optimal recall?
101% of the time? I don't know. No, I'm going to say obviously more, perhaps 80%.
You're very close. They found the sweet spot is brands should appear for at least 2/3 of the ad's total time for optimal recall. So they call this 2/3 mark the tipping point for brand recognition. And it makes sense when we think about how attention works. Our attention decays fast, especially in environments like TV, where ads compete with each other and viewers are multitasking. So if you wait too long to reveal your brand, people may have already tuned out. They also mentioned that earlier brand cues like logos, packaging, or even just that verbal sonic logo of a brand name can help encode memory faster and make recall more likely later. So what are the takeaways for marketers? First, what Rob said, show up early. Don't wait until the end to reveal your brand. Make it part of the story from the start. Use visuals, sound, or dialogue to naturally weave it in. Second, stay visible. Keep your brand on screen or audible for about 2/3 of the ad. This could be a logo, a product shot, or a signature sound, but make sure the audience knows it's you. And be consistent. Repetition isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's what builds memory. Strong brand cues are used consistently, and that's what builds recall over time. Because as often as we emphasize this here at Marketing Architects, creative isn't about just entertaining the viewer. It's about building memory structures that drive results. Now, TV is still the best medium to do this because it offers sustained attention, multisensory storytelling. But if your brand isn't visible enough, even though it's on TV, you're paying for an ad that mostly benefits the category, not your brand. Time for a Rob GPT. Think of your brand like hosting a party. If you're there from the start, greeting guests, present throughout the night, everybody's going to know it's your party. But if you only show up in the last 5 minutes to say goodbye, people are going to leave thinking, wait a second, whose house was that again? I thought that was a fun Rob
That's
GPT.
super fun. No, that's a super fun one. And I'm giving you crap because I do think this is an important study and an important storyline, and one that I can have empathy for. As someone who's worked in creative for many years, there are definitely techniques that people will use. Having the product be the punchline, right? Seems natural. Like, hey, you got this great setup, everything's going, and then the reveal at the end, the product is the hero. And that's an easy storyline to sell to the CMO. What it does is it short sheets the brand, right? Because you have to tell that story before you reveal the brand. So the storytelling technique makes sense on paper, but the real goal is how do you get them to be a part of the story from once upon a time and not happily ever after.
And this is why that type of expertise matters so much in TV advertising. Because like you're saying, that would make sense to me if I just heard that. Like, oh, make your brand kind of the punchline, the reveal, part of the story. But no, there are some principles of TV advertising that are very important to follow. Also, the more strong distinctive assets you have, the more options that are in front of you for how your brand appears. It doesn't mean that you have to be repeating marketing architects, the whole time. Like, you could have a music track. You could have your logo on screen. You could have your packaging. You could have your brand color. You know, if you have options, then it becomes easier to brand throughout the ad.
Absolutely. You know, and we had the CMO of Good RX, Ryan, on recently. Go look at their work. Look up the Savings Wrangler on YouTube, and you're going to see a commercial that starts off strong with the brand and goes all the way through, and yet it's entertaining. They did an amazing job. It can be done.
Yes, great example. Go watch that ad. I also think Liberty Mutual does a good job of
definitely
branding throughout their ads. But yeah, the Savings Wrangler is a good shout out. Now we have a new example. That's it for this episode of The Marketing Architects. We'd like to thank Taylor De Los Reyes for producing the show. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, and if you like the podcast, please leave us a review. Now go forth and build great marketing.
Marketing Architects.